I'm Ethan Harper, and let me ask you something. What would you do if the company you gave your life to kicked you out without a second thought? For 17 years, I was the backbone of Apex Dynamics, a tech firm in Seattle. I built their systems, trained their staff, and saved their data from disaster after disaster. But one Monday, they told me my job was gone. No warning, no thank you, just a cold order to clear my desk. What they didn't know was I'd uncovered their dirty little secret, a multi-million-dollar scam that would bring them to their knees. Stick with me, because my revenge wasn't just sweet, it was a masterclass in justice. What would you do in my shoes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I wasn't born into tech. I grew up in a small town outside Seattle, fixing computers for neighbors to afford college. At 24, I landed a job at Apex Dynamics, a scrappy startup with big dreams. I started as a junior systems analyst, but my knack for solving problems got me noticed. Over 17 years, I became the senior IT specialist, the guy who knew every server, every line of code, every workaround. I led the charge through dial-up days, Y2K scares, and cloud migrations. 3 CEOs came and went, but I stayed, training new hires, recovering lost files, working weekends without a single complaint. My wife, Sarah, used to tease that the servers were my second family. She wasn't wrong. Apex grew from a single floor to a 15-story headquarters. My daughter, Mia, was in preschool when I started. Now she's in graduate school. I turned down job offers from rivals because loyalty meant something to me. I built systems that survived mergers, crashes, and half-baked executive innovations that fizzled out in months. My office was a corner of the IT floor, cluttered with a family photo, a coffee mug Mia made in art class, and a tiny cactus that somehow thrived under fluorescent lights. I thought I'd retire there, but the air started changing 6 months ago, and I should have seen it coming. Have you ever felt a shift at work, like you're being pushed out? Let me know in the comments. That Monday morning hit like a freight train. My boss, Nathan Reed, called me into his office. Vanessa from HR was already there, her face blank. "Ethan, after 17 years, we're eliminating your position," Nathan said, his voice flat. "Clear your desk by the end of the day." No explanation, no apology. I was 54, a senior systems analyst who'd practically built Apex's IT backbone, and they were tossing me out like old hardware. I nodded once, said, "I understand," and walked out. No yelling, no begging, just silence. Back at my desk, I saw younger coders glance my way, then look down at their screens. I'd trained most of them, taught them the custom software I wrote, the admin credentials buried deep in our systems. They were good kids, but they didn't know the architecture like I did. No one did. I packed slowly. The family photo, Mia's mug, the cactus. Lisa from marketing stopped by, her eyes wide. "Ethan, this is insane. You're the heart of this place." I shrugged. "Companies pivot, Lisa." But inside, I was burning. It wasn't fine, but I wasn't going to make a scene. As I left, Nathan watched from his office. No goodbye, just a cold stare to make sure I was gone. What they all missed was that I wasn't just another employee. I was the guy who'd set up every security protocol, documented every change, and kept backups of everything. In my car, I had copies of it all. I drove home, my mind already turning. Wednesday was going to be interesting. Ever been let go unfairly? Share your story below. I'm reading every comment. The signs had been there for months, but I'd ignored them. Nathan, my boss for the last 5 years, was a young MBA type, all buzzwords like digital synergy and streamlining resources. He saw our team as cogs, not people. I tried to explain our systems, the layers of code I'd built over decades, but he'd cut me off. "We need to future-proof Ethan," he'd say, staring past me. 6 months ago, he brought in a consultant, Marcus Bennett, a slick guy with a Harvard degree plastered all over LinkedIn. They'd whisper in conference rooms, doors closing when I walked by. Then my access permissions started changing. Small tweaks to admin controls, nothing blatant. I could have raised a fuss, but I watched instead, documenting every move. 3 months ago, I found a memo about modernization initiatives that didn't include me. It outlined a full IT department overhaul led by Marcus. My role wasn't even on the chart. Around the same time, during a routine security scan, one of those tasks no one else bothered with, I noticed odd patterns in our financial software. Regular payments to a vendor called Pinnacle Ventures, a company registered just last year to a P.O. box. The amount started small but grew fast, authorized by our CFO, Greg Lawson. I didn't say anything, just copied the records and kept watching. Sarah noticed I was distracted. "Work okay?" she asked one night on our porch. I sipped my coffee and nodded. Just the usual changes. But these changes felt different. They were boxing me out. Have you ever been sidelined at work? Tell me how you handled it in the comments. The morning after I was fired, I sat in my home office, staring at my laptop. No commute, no emails, just silence. Sarah brought me coffee, her eyes soft with worry. "Need anything?" she asked. I shook my head. After she left, I pulled a flash drive from my desk drawer. Years ago, the legal team had asked me to create audit protocols for insider threats. I'd insisted on off-site backups, and they'd signed off, then forgotten. That drive held everything: emails, meeting notes, financial records no regular employee should have. I found a trail of payments to Pinnacle Ventures, $20 million over 18 months approved by Greg. Cross-referencing dates, I saw the payments match software license renewals, but inflated by 10 to 25%. A quick search showed Pinnacle's owner was Michael Lawson, Greg's cousin. They were skimming millions through fake markups. I leaned back, a cold focus settling in. For 17 years, I'd been the problem solver, the guy who never made waves. They thought I'd disappear quietly. They were wrong. My phone buzzed. Tom, a junior analyst I'd mentored, texted, "Sorry about yesterday. Total BS. Marcus is moving into your office." I didn't reply. The pieces were falling into place. Nathan and Greg needed me gone before I connected their dots. They thought I was just an old tech guy out of touch with modern finance. I opened my laptop and started planning. Wednesday was the board's quarterly meeting. Perfect timing. Ever uncovered something shady at work? Drop it in the comments. I want to hear your stories. Wednesday morning, I parked across from Apex's headquarters, watching employees stream in. In my car was my laptop, logged into an old email account I'd set up for security testing, untracked but tied to an internal domain. At 9:15 a.m., I sent an email to Nathan. Subject: financial concerns. Urgent. It outlined the Pinnacle payments, just enough to rattle him without revealing Greg's cousin. If Nathan was in on it, he'd panic. If not, he'd dig. Either way, I'd learned something. By 9:45, my phone rang. Nathan. I let it go to voicemail. He sounded nervous. "Ethan, we need to talk about your email. Call me now." I didn't. At 10:30, Vanessa from HR emailed, warning me about violating my separation agreement and threatening legal action. I hadn't signed anything, so I ignored it. At noon, I visited my bank, pulling another backup from my safe deposit box, older files with security logs showing Greg requesting expanded financial access 18 months ago, right when Pinnacle payments started. My phone kept buzzing. Nathan, Vanessa, now Marcus. Tom texted, "They're freaking out. Marcus called an emergency meeting. They're wiping your access, even old stuff we need." "What's going on?" I replied, "Stay out of it, Tom. Just watch." At 3 p.m., my home phone rang, a number I hadn't used for work in years. It was Greg. "Ethan, there's a misunderstanding," he said, his voice too calm. "Let's meet tomorrow, just us." I cut in. "A misunderstanding? Like Pinnacle Ventures and your cousin Michael?" Silence. Then, "You're making a mistake. We can offer generous severance, references, whatever you need." "Goodbye, Greg," I said and hung up. 10 minutes later, Vanessa emailed, doubling my severance with a confidentiality clause. They thought I was bluffing. They had no idea what was coming. Have you ever caught a boss in a lie? Share it below. Let's compare notes. Thursday brought clarity. I spent the night digging through my backups, connecting dots I'd missed. Pinnacle wasn't Greg's first scheme. 3 years ago, right after he became CFO, I found payments to Evergreen Consulting, another shell company tied to Greg's sister Laura. Same trick, inflated invoices for partial services. Daniel, my old boss before Nathan, had been pushed out for asking questions about those payments. Marcus's consulting firm was hired without standard bidding, his real job to phase me out. The scam was simple: fake vendors, padded invoices, split profits. Over 3 years, they'd siphoned $48 million. I compiled a report. Spreadsheets of payments, business registrations linking to Greg's family, emails showing Nathan's involvement. Then I did something unexpected. I called Laura Chen, a semi-retired board member I'd worked with on a security project years ago. "Ethan Harper," she said, surprised. "Heard you left Apex." "Not by choice," I replied. "I need 15 minutes. It's serious." An hour later, we met in a park. I handed her an envelope with my report and a flash drive. "This is everything," I said. "Dates, amounts, connections. I'm not after my job or money. I just want the truth out." She studied me. "This why Greg and Nathan are so jumpy?" "Yesterday's board meeting was tense." I nodded. "If this checks out, there'll be consequences," she said, pocketing the envelope. As I left, Sarah texted, "Some guy Marcus came by looking for you. Said it's urgent." They were desperate. Good. That night, using old credentials they'd failed to revoke, I scheduled an email to every board member for 8 a.m. Friday before their bonus approvals. Attached was my full report. Have you ever had to blow the whistle? Tell me how it went in the comments. Friday morning, I sat on my porch with coffee, no commute, just waiting. At 8 a.m., my email hit the board's inboxes. By 8:17, my phone started ringing. Unknown numbers, probably board assistants. I ignored them. At 9:32, Tom texted, "Cops are here. Greg and Nathan are being questioned. Marcus looks like he's gonna puke. What did you do?" I didn't reply. At 10 o'clock, Apex's general counsel, Patricia Hayes, called. I answered. "Mr. Harper, we need you in now to discuss your information," she said. "I'm available by phone," I replied. "Everything's in the report, backed up in multiple locations. If anything happens to me or my family, copies go to the SEC, IRS, and 3 news outlets." Silence. "The board is taking this seriously," she said. "Executives are on leave pending investigation." "Good," I said. "My part's done." By noon, business sites reported Apex Dynamics executives probed for financial misconduct. No names yet, but they'd come. Laura called at 2 p.m. "It's a mess," she said. "Greg confessed when we showed your evidence, trying to pin it on Nathan. Nathan's denying everything, and Marcus claims he's just a consultant. The board's not buying it. They've suspended all 3. Forensic accountants start Monday. Early estimates, $50 million diverted, maybe more." I nodded. I'd been close. "They want you back," she added. "Not your old job, a new chief security officer role, reporting to the board." I paused. "I'll think about it." That night, I told Sarah everything. "What do you want?" she asked. I didn't know yet. Justice was served. But going back, that was complicated. Ever faced a choice like that? Share it below. I'm curious. Monday morning, I walked into Apex's headquarters wearing a suit I hadn't touched in years. The security guard grinned. "Welcome back, Mr. Harper." The elevator to the executive floor felt surreal. I'd never been there before. In the boardroom, 10 members sat around a polished table. Laura nodded as I entered. The interim CEO, formerly the COO, shifted uncomfortably. "Mr. Harper," she began, "your information exposed a massive fraud. Early estimates show $55 million diverted. Criminal charges are coming." I stayed silent. "We've created a Chief Information Security Officer role," she continued. "Full executive privileges, reporting to the board. We want you." I set a folder on the table. "My conditions," I said, "non-negotiable." She opened it. Full audit authority, independent budget, veto power on financial tech decisions. Her eyebrows rose. "This is unusual." "So was stealing $55 million, I replied. "That happened because no one was watching. Now someone will." Silence. Laura spoke. "Did you plan this, Ethan?" I paused at the door. "I didn't plan to be fired after 17 years. Everything after that? Just me doing my job, finding vulnerabilities, fixing them." At 11:47 they called. They'd accepted every condition. 6 months later, I sat in my new corner office reviewing security protocols. The Seattle skyline stretched outside, a reminder of how far I'd come. Greg pleaded guilty, facing years in prison. Nathan was fighting charges, but the evidence was airtight. Marcus fled to Singapore, but extradition was in motion. Most of the money was recovered, saving Apex from collapse. Tom now ran daily IT operations. He'd earned it. Sarah knocked on my door. "Lunch?" she asked. I grabbed my jacket. As we walked through the IT floor, conversations hushed. Not fear, but respect. They knew I could have destroyed the company, but chose to save it. In the elevator, Sarah squeezed my hand. "Happy?" I thought about it. The anger from those first days was gone, replaced by something else. Satisfaction, maybe closure. "I'm good," I said. Outside, the October sun warmed us as we headed to lunch. My phone buzzed. "Laura, board approved your budget increase." "Unanimous," I smiled. Some bridges collapse under their own greed. Others, once rebuilt, stand stronger than ever. I'd built this one right. What's your take on my story? Was my revenge too cold, or did they deserve it? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've got a story of justice served, share it. I might feature it next. Hit subscribe and the bell for more.